Hello, security pros. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on today's ESA webinar. Increase your RMR with Telguard's next level reliability. POTS is a way of the past, so what we can do both to modernize our communication systems for our clients while also increasing our own RMR. Join us as we learn more about Telguard and their new award-winning multi-carrier technology to bring the best solutions in commercial fire. I'm Ana Magayon, a marketing specialist at ESA, and I'm excited to lead this webinar today. Before we dive in, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you joining us on your first ESA webinar. Welcome. You will be muted for the duration of this session, but that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. If a question or comment comes to mind at any point during today's session, click the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and I'll ensure we save some time for your questions with our experts today. We'll also be recording this webinar so you can rewatch the on-demand session and share it with your colleagues. Tomorrow, you'll receive an email thanking you for your attendance today with a link to the recording. Also, calling all security pros who are ready to take your career to new heights. Don't miss out on the opportunity to join us at ESX 2026. Save the date now for June 1 through 4 in Irving, Texas, and the premier event for electronic security and life safety professionals. With engaging sessions, valuable networking opportunities, and cutting-edge technology exhibits, ESX promises to be an unforgettable experience. We at ESA realize your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us today. So, without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to our professionals. We have Gabe Chandler, Southeast Regional Sales Representative for Telguard, and Daniel Rosales, Senior Director of Product Technical Services and Marketing for Telguard. Take it away, Gabe.
Thank you very much, Anna. We're really happy to be here with ESA, giving this little presentation. It's a great opportunity to get in front of you guys and to share a little bit about what we're about, the kind of things that we're doing to change the game here in the commercial fire front and really for security in general. So starting off, just a little bit about me. I'm a proud son of Lexington, Kentucky, born and raised there my whole life before I moved to Atlanta. Graduated with degrees in media communications and theater. I've been in the industry and been here at Telguard for about 2 years now, but I've got about 4 total years of experience in technology sales and account management. I'm a big fan of University of Kentucky college athletics. Football's been a little bit rough for us so far this year, so I'm really excited that basketball is just around the corner. Both of my fantasy football teams are currently 3-3. Right now, so things are going pretty good. Things are going all right now. But that is enough about me, and now for a little bit about us and who we are as Telguard. We were founded as Telgular in 1986 by a guy named William DeNicolo, who came home from vacation one day and discovered every homeowner's worst nightmare. His house had been broken into, and his security system hadn't alerted authorities because his phone lines had been cut. So he set out to create a new way for alarm systems to communicate securely without risk of being circumvented by a $5 pair of wire cutters. And from that very bad day, Telguard's line of residential and commercial alarm communicators were born. Now, there are a whole lot of dates on that screen, and I'm not your high school history teacher. I'm not going to make you memorize all of them, but there's a couple of things that I want you to take away from them. And the first is that we've been doing this for almost 40 years. We've been doing this for a long time. And when you've been dedicated to do something for that long, you get to know a thing or two about what you're doing. And you may all notice that with the way those dates line up, we've been at the leading edge of innovation in this industry as it's grown and changed with the technology that's become available. And when you take both of those things together, you can see why at Telguard, we're the alarm communication experts. So that's a little bit about who we are, what we do, and where we're from. But how does it work? Well, that's the Telguard system. We not only manufacture the communicators, we also get the signals to where they need to go. Went a little bit too far. An alarm signal is triggered at your panel and then is sent out from your Telguard communicator via cellular networks to our Telguard Communication Center receivers in Chicago and Atlanta, and from there get forwarded onto your central stations so that the appropriate responders can be dispatched or so that you and your team can be alerted that there's a problem in the system. We developed our Telguard communicators to be fully panel agnostic, and we speak more language formats than any other communicator on the market today. We've also grown with the industry to include IP delivery to your central stations as another way to help you better serve your clients in the modern world of security. So whether it's a new system install or something like an existing system takeover, you can trust that you'll be able to hook us up to just about anything. And we're going to be able to speak the language that it's using and transmit those signals to your central station. So what's the problem then? All that sounds really good. So what's the big issue that most people are facing today? And honestly, it's pretty simple. You heard about it on the summary at the top, and that's POTS. The world around us is growing and changing, but the system that the vast majority of the country still uses has not kept up. When we say plain old telephone service, we're talking 145 years old, all the way back to when Alexander Graham Bell invented the concept of twisted pairs of copper wire to help his newfangled telephone work, because the first phone networks had been relying on the even older telegraph line network to make their brand new voice calls. And when the components of that network, and while the components of that network may have been modernized over the almost century and a half since, the concept has remained virtually unchanged since that day, 16 years after the end of the Civil War. And as technology by which we communicate in our day-to-day lives has upgraded and changed, the ability to maintain those older methods of communications have gradually died out. The companies that used to manufacture the means of upkeep for these hard copper wire networks have either gone out of business or they've changed with the times to support other parts of the industry. And as a result, you have a massive infrastructure network that is slowly dying. And there's no easy, and by that we also mean affordable, way to maintain it. So as a result, telecom companies like AT&T are getting out and selling off vast swaths of their copper wire networks to smaller local companies around the US so that they don't have to be responsible for them anymore. But you wouldn't know that based on how much they're charging their customers to keep those copper wire networks. And so what's that look like for the consumer? AT&T may own the connection at their home or their place of business, and AT&T may own the connection on the back end where the signal ends up. So as a result, the check they cut each month to pay for it would be to AT&T, but they don't own the miles and miles of wire network between those 2 points. Not all of those companies that do are going to have the resources, the ability, or let's face it, in some cases, the desire to maintain their stretch of the network up to AT&T's previous standards. There has to be a switch at every single handoff point where one network transitions from one company to the other. And so as a result, your potential points of total system failure have just skyrocketed. And the chance that your customer signal can get lost or dropped or misdelivered have increased by several orders of magnitude. There's also regulatory changes at the national level impacting prices, allowing these telecom companies to raise them without a federal cap protection in place to protect their clients from paying too much for this aging service. So it's also easier than ever before for providers to outright cut off service should alternatives be available without the protection of the reliability that we want to be able to ensure our clients that they can trust in. So as a result, people are now more than ever before looking for more affordable, more reliable, modern alternatives that they can trust in without the hassle that comes with keeping their copper. People are looking for something new, and that's where we can step in. And now you may be asking yourself, good, we're here to learn about how we can increase our RMR. It's in the title of your presentation. So when are you going to bring that up? Well, the answer is right here, right now, because there are 30 million commercial properties in these United States still relying on POTS to deliver their alarm signals. That's 30 million opportunities for you to dip a hand into the bucket that the big telecom companies are still pulling from and take that money and make it your own through monthly monitoring and signal forwarding with wireless cellular communicators. Your clients want to save money while still ensuring that they receive the best protection that they can. And you can help them do just that, except this time they'll be paying you. It's easy to spot the big opportunities, your hospitals, your office parks, schools, airports, that kind of thing. But those are just the jelly donuts. Those are the big fish with lots of federal requirements that we're looking to meet and fulfill. Those are the mountaintops that we're all looking for. But really, any commercial property is going to be ripe for these opportunities if you're looking for them. We're talking storefronts, workshops, restaurants, gas stations, apartment complexes, and so many more different options. All of them are looking for ways to reliably get their alarm signals out and to keep their businesses safe. So what's your big selling points? What are they? It all comes down to POT's lack of growth and evolution to keep up with modern technology. It's the elimination of the uncertainty that comes from using outdated tech and the reliability that comes with modern, tested, proven alternatives that are the standard by which we communicate with each other today. So we've established what our need is. We've established that cellular communication is the way of the future. So what are we going to use to ensure our clients are getting the best of the best? And there's another short answer for that. And that's Telguard multi-carrier. Well, what is it? What is Telguard multi-carrier? We changed the game when we first introduced the first true sole path wireless communicator in the TG7FS back in 2010. And now we've done it again with the first wireless communicator in the commercial fire space to offer active access to AT&T, Verizon, and now T-Mobile signals in a single device. Some of you may have caught that T-Mobile logo back at the very beginning of our meeting here, and that's the multi-carrier line of communicators that brings it into play. Our Telguard system connecting your alarm panels to your central stations with the reliability that comes from having all three of America's biggest networks at your disposal. We then took things one step further with our automated carrier selection process for even greater ease of use. When you first set up a Telguard multi-carrier commercial fire communicator, it's going to ping the cell towers for all three networks in your area and test its connection to each one. It then creates a list where it ranks each carrier by signal strength, and it latches on to the strongest one. It then uses that network for its communications unless it detects a loss of signal. So should the network go down or the signal drop, the multi-carrier is going to detect that, and within minutes it'll refer to that list that it made when you first fired it up, and it'll automatically fail over to the next carrier on that list with the next strongest signal connection. You won't have to roll out a truck. You won't have to call us to request a change. You won't even have to access the unit via the dealer portal. It's entirely automated for your ease of use and peace of mind. So should it lose connection with that second carrier in the list, it'll just switch again to the third carrier. And if all three networks go down, then honestly, we probably have a much bigger problem on our hands somewhere. So why add T-Mobile to your carrier offerings? Well, honestly, the better question is why not? Having three networks at your disposal is always going to be greater than two. T-Mobile's aggressive domestic expansion and the acquisition of cell towers across the nation have increased their coverage by a large margin, including and especially in more rural areas where many of our dealers have been seeing some of their greatest success integrating the multi-carrier units. It means less time wasted having to run back to your local distributor because the hardware isn't a limitation anymore on what networks your Telguard can use, which saves even more money and time for both you and your clients. So you've heard about the benefits, you've heard about the innovations, well, let's meet them. Introducing the first Telguard multi-carrier commercial fire systems, the TG7FM and the TG7FEM. Starting with the TG7FM, this was the first unit shipped out to our dealers back in January of this year. It's a panel-powered sole path communicator housed in a fire-resistant plastic enclosure, including all of the features that we've made standard here at Telguard with the same panel-agnostic approach and language versatility as our other products, but now with all three of America's major carriers under the hood on a single SIM card. Released a short time later as our second entry into the multi-carrier commercial fire line, the TG7 FEM dual path communicator added a second communication pathway via the internet, including an Ethernet port to make use of the site's LAN network to connect to the web for signal delivery. It can be set up so that Ethernet is the primary or backup pathway, giving your clients greater flexibility for ensuring that their signals get delivered. And people have been taking notice. The TG7 FM and FEM have been out for less than a year, and already we've been recognized by industry leaders like SSNI and Campus Security, and of course, our good friends right here at ESA back in June at the Electronic Security Expo here in Atlanta, Georgia, for the innovation, flexibility, and reliability offered by the multi-carrier line of Telguard communicators. We're incredibly proud of the work our team has put into developing it. We're thrilled by the results we've been seeing this year from the dealers who have already started using it, and we can't wait to see what all of you do with it in the years to come. And here's the part of the presentation where I get to say, but wait, there's more. Telguard still offers our full suite of 5G LTE-M communicators for your clients' needs, just like we always have. Starting with commercial fire, we've got the TG7FS, the workhorse, the daily driver. This is the one that gets the job done. It's the OG since 2010, but now with the latest in LTE-M cellular tech. Dual path communicator listed and compliant with all requirements for sole path, primary, or backup communications. It's panel agnostic, and like I said, we speak more languages than any other communicator on the market. The TG7FE is as internet became faster and more stable in the buildings where we placed these communicators. We took out the telco line in the FS and added LAN Ethernet connections for the TG7FE commercial fire communicator to further modernize and add flexibility to the communication pathways that you can offer your clients. And then finally, the TG7FP. On the jobs where you need a simpler option, the TG7FP was engineered with simplicity in mind. When it comes to applications for space and access to power and budget might all be factors, the TG7FP is the sole path communicator for the job. We also have the TG7 or the TG-PEM. We took the already flexible TG7FS platform and added even more to it with the TG-PEM, which stands for Power Expansion Module, added to the enclosure. You'll have access to 8 additional dry contact zones, and it replaces the DAC for panels that don't have a dialer. Another standard feature in today's market is the ability to remote into the panels that you're monitoring without having to roll a truck just to push a simple update. And for that, we have our Telguard virtual modem for your upload and download needs. It installs directly into your work PC or laptop, and it appears as physical hardware when you log into your preferred management software. We also have your commercial intrusion covered. The TG7 line is available here too, offering all of the same reliability and flexibility as the FS and listed for commercial Berg in a lovely beige can. We also updated the intrusion line of TG7s to include LAN internet with the TG7E. Its cellular antenna makes use of the same LTE-M signal for better building penetration, allowing the 7E to be placed in interior rooms for better safety without compromising on your signal. Finally, we have the TG7A for applications requiring the maximum in heavy-duty hardware. The A stands for armored because it comes in an attack-resistant enclosure so that your signals can go out to even under duress. And it's worth noting here that all of our TG7 line, including the commercial fire, come equipped for link supervision at 60-minute, 5-minute, and SLS 200-second levels. It's also compatible. The Berg line are also compatible with the PEM and the virtual modem as well. And then going back to the bad day that started it all, we've still got you covered on the residential side as well. The workhorse of the residential intrusion side, the TG1 Express, you see them all over the place if you work in residential, and there's a reason for that. It's the ever-reliable TG1 Express offers everything that you need in a sole path communicator, powering the unit and capturing your dialer signal off of one simple cable. It offers the same flexibility in languages and panel-agnostic features as our commercial fire and intrusion lines, and it also interfaces with our Home Control Flex app for remote arming and disarming. We saw this a little bit on the commercial Berg page, because if you need a little more oomph in your home system, or if you're looking to monitor a lighter commercial application, the TG4 is going to be the communicator you're looking for. It offers the same swath of features and flexibility as the TG1, but with an additional telco backup, and also interfaces with our Home Control Flex app. And that's what I got for you. We've been really proud of how the TG7 multi-carrier line has been introduced so far, across the country, in all of our different regions. We're really excited to see where it goes in the future as we continue updating it and we continue our releases. And we're excited to hear back from you guys about your experiences about it. And so now we got some time for a bit of a Q&A, if we want to open up the queue for myself and for Daniel.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gabe. Yeah, to everyone here on the webinar, just a reminder, if you do have any additional questions, I have a few that I'm going to send over Gabe's way right now, but you still have time to submit them down below in the Q&A icon. And for now, I'll jump into a couple. All right, Gabe. So how much more expensive is it to use all three carriers? Do you have to pay different rates for each one?
So the short answer is no, you don't have to pay different rates for each one. The contract between the carriers is with us, essentially, and your contract is with us. So we're going to run the interface, essentially. So you're paying only one rate. It doesn't matter which carrier is selected at the time of it being set up, or if it has to switch. That's never going to change. And we try to price our rates just as competitively as our normal rates for the TG7FS and that sort of thing. It's just a little bit more, but you're getting an entire third carrier, basically. With these options, and so we try to keep it priced competitively.
Awesome. Perfect. Question number 2 is T-Mobile really making that big of a difference?
So far, yes, it has. We've been noticing a lot of success across all of our regions, with T-Mobile being the primary network that's selected right from the get-go. A recent report that I saw from my region here in the Southeast, specifically with Florida and South Carolina, we're looking at 42% of the active units that are in Florida are using T-Mobile, 50%, so half of all active units are using T-Mobile in South Carolina. So there's been a lot of success with that, especially in, like I said, in rural areas. And Daniel, I think I'll bring you in for a little bit of feedback as well. What are we seeing across the rest of the board for it?
Yeah, so from what we've looked at, the Northeast is very, very, very good for T-Mobile, but all over the place. We're on average nationwide, we're seeing it upwards of 34%, which basically means it's picking up its weight, right? One of the things that was really interesting for us as far as getting with T-Mobile is the fact that T-Mobile has spent quite a bit of money in their infrastructure on the 4G and 5G platform. So that's pretty big for us. The technology that we're using is meant to survive and thrive as we move away from LTE, when the LTE sunset comes in into 5G. So T-Mobile is one of those entities that has already set themselves up for a very good coverage map on the 5G side. So we're very happy with the way that it's working out. And I think it's really giving our customers sort of a different option, right? Opening eyes that they didn't really have access to before.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How long before the TG7FM and FEM are affected by a cellular sunset?
Yeah, Daniel, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, it basically goes back to what I said. I think I kind of answered that question already. But essentially, because of the technology, that LTE-M technology that we're utilizing, we're expecting this to basically bypass the next sunset. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, I wish we had a radio that would never sunset, so we don't have to go through the struggles that we've gone through. That's impossible. You don't know what innovations will be around the corner. You don't know what 7G or 8G are going to look like because it hasn't really been invented yet. But with the CAT-M, with the LTE-M, with a 5G LTE technology that we're using, we're basically ensuring that all your devices are going to be able to survive past the LTE sunset and into 5G. Timeline for that will probably vary. If you speak to AT&T, if you talk to Verizon, if you have T-Mobile contacts, 10, 15, 20 years, I mean, who knows? The big thing is, even when the next LTE sunset gets announced, that's not the end of the story for these products. So that's the big headline for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel. And thank you so much to Gabe for this wonderful presentation. I believe that brings us to the last of our questions for today. Yeah, just a reminder to everyone, I will be sending out the recording for this webinar tomorrow. And otherwise, thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.